Hi, I'm Anand. I'm a GPT expert. No, seriously, I'm one of the co-founders of Bito, and we are excited for you to try out Bito's AI to help you be a 10x developer or at least save a couple of hours a day. Join over 100,000 developers who are using Bito today. We believe Bito can be a superpower to help you do so many things like understand your code, explain code, generate comments, find and fix potential bugs, and the list goes on. The goal here is to help you be faster and more productive with fewer bugs. Let's quickly show you how it works. Bito understands your code, so I can ask Bito questions related to my code. Let's ask Bito to explain what code in ttemailsend.sh does. In my code, what does email send.sh do? There you go. Bito is providing you the explanation of the code in this particular file. This helps you understand existing code so you can make better modifications to existing code. Now, talking about modifications, let's take an example of me requiring to add a column to a table which is existing in my code, and I want to figure out all the changes required for it. Now let me ask Bito to list. As you can see, it's identified that you need to go and add the column to a SQL file, then other files which are basically using this particular table, and modifications required to those particular files. You can ask Bito any freeform question in the Bito panel. Let me ask it to generate a web-based inventory management system wherein you maintain a list of items, assign it, and then generate a code for it in Node.js, HTML or EJS, and provide instructions to build, run, and test it. As you can see, it's providing you instructions as well as code right now. Okay, let's try to follow the instructions and run the code. Create a new directory in your project. So let me create inventory. Okay, and this new directory, run this command. So let me do it. Save all the changes. Okay, all done. And then it says run this command. So let me copy paste this. Okay, it's up and running. And then I should access this via the web browser. There you go. You have the inventory management system up and running. Let me add an item. One laptop, type Mac, purchase date say 29th. Let me add it. Okay, let me try to retrieve. Okay, so you have the inventory list out here. Let me add another one. To mouse, Microsoft, purchase date 27th. There you go. You have an inventory management system code generated by Bito now up and running. Cool. Bito also maintains context, so I can ask Bito to actually update the code that it generated. Out here, it's probably storing the data in memory. Let me ask it to save the data in a JSON file. There you go. It knows that you asked it to generate an inventory management system, and it was storing it in memory, and now it's basically updating the same piece of code to store the data in a JSON file. At any given instance of time, if you want Bito to stop generating the output, you can click on stop generating. Then it will stop generating the output there and then itself. Bito also provides a lot of shortcuts where we have tested out the best way to get you answers to things like explain code, generate comments, check for performance, and so on. To access shortcuts, you can access shortcuts via the templates panel in Bito UI, as well as by selecting a piece of code, right-clicking, and using context menus, which is explain code, generate comments, and so on under Bito AI. You can also use them via keyboard shortcuts shown here. Let me quickly show you a shortcut to clean code. Clean code removes the debug statements from your code. As you can see, it provided you the updated code in a diff view. Bito opens up a diff view so that you can clearly see the changes suggested by Bito, so you can pick and choose what you want to keep. Bito shortcuts can be also accessed via this templates panel in Bito UI. And Bito also provides a functionality to create your own shortcuts. For example, I can create a new shortcut out here by using new templates. Let me actually create a shortcut to explain the code in Spanish. Then create a template. Let me go back to this code here. Let me select this piece of code and then click on explain code in Spanish. As you can see, it's providing you the explanation for the selected piece of code in Spanish. Similarly, I've created another one to explain code in Chinese. I can click it and you can see the explanation in Chinese. Let me stop generation out here. In the Bito panel, as you can see the question, the answer, as well as shortcuts for regenerating the answer, copying it, as well as sharing it. In case of code, you can see the shortcuts for copy, insert at the location where you are currently in your editor window, as well as open up the diff view if a diff view is available, so that you can quickly get to things that you want to do. The conversation that you're having with Bito is also known as a session, and Bito maintains the history of sessions that you've been having with Bito locally and can be accessed via the history button out here. You can go to any session at any given instance of time. Let me quickly get back to the session that we are in out here. Bito today is available on Visual Studio Code, JetBrains IDEs like IntelliJ, PyCharm, and so on. We also have a Chrome extension and a CLI. Let's quickly show you how the CLI works. If you have Bito CLI installed, you can invoke Bito CLI by using command Bito. This starts an interactive mode or a chat session using CLI. Here you can ask Bito any freeform question. Now let me ask Bito to generate or provide me an arc command to some total last column in a CSV. And then hit Ctrl T. As you can see, Bito is basically providing you the arc command as well as the explanation of how it works. Most of the times, folks like to use CLI for automation. So Bito also provides a non-interactive mode where you can provide a prompt to Bito and any input text or a file, and it will process the input provided with the prompt that you provided. Let me quickly show you how it works. I've created a prompt, my.prompt.txt, which has the prompt explain the code in markdown format to create documentation. Let me run this by using command Bito -p for prompt. I'll give input as my.prompt.txt. Then I'll give it a file for which I want to create the documentation, which is bitoai.sh. As you can see, it's basically generating the documentation in markdown format. I can redirect it to a readme.md file to have the documentation ready. Cool. I can also run this without using the -f option, but directly, typing the file and providing it as an input to Bito command. So cat bito ai.sh to Bito with -p and my prompt out here to get the same result. Cool, that's all. Hope this helps. Take care, enjoy.